Welcome to Life in Motion podcast with the best woman trio on the planet. On this podcast, we talk about all things related to navigating the complexities of day-to-day life and how we move with the ebbs and flow of all life brings our way.
We started this podcast because life be lifing, whether you're ready for it or not.
In this episode, we introduce ourselves and what the podcast is all about. We also let you know why we chose the name Life in Motion, and then we branch to talk about different random things that kind of gives you a feel of what to expect in episodes to come. Do stick around and let's learn.
Hey, hi everybody. So this is Life in Motion podcast, and I am here with my friends. And Kit is going to introduce herself
So
first.
my name is Siveki Temba. You can call me Kit. I have a background in neuroscience and also audiology. So my interests, anything maybe business related. I love traveling. That's me in a nutshell.
Hi, my name is Vanesha, and I have a background in psychology, so I love talking about things like mental health issues. I like talking about all things life and just life improvement. And a little fun fact about me is I love to dance. I'm always dancing. I'm always singing. I don't know if I can sing, but I have a shower voice. I have a voice made for the shower. That's
My
it.
name is Barbara Hornby. I also have a background in psychology. I also did sociology. I enjoy just talking about social issues in general with my friends. We like to tackle it, break it down, and make it make sense. So that's why we're here. Fun fact about me is I play the piano and I'm getting better
So
every day.
ladies,
Why did we decide to start a podcast called Life Emotion? Who wants to go first in answering this one?
That's a good question. Why did we start a podcast like emotions? I mean, and because Barbara used like life be life it, and that's just the truth. And sometimes you just need a couple of people to help you tease out all the little things about life that could be confusing, and to hear different people's point of view could kind of help. So yeah, Life in Motion podcast came out of that.
Yeah,
Mhm.
pretty much everything there. And yeah, I guess we're just here to navigate life together,
Yeah.
help break it all down. We all usually talk about different things together anyway. So
Mhm.
we were just like, why don't we put it in a podcast where other people can tune in and we can all learn and grow together?
Mhm. And also, I felt like Barbara and myself have been wanting to do a podcast for the longest time,
Yeah,
but it wasn't the right time.
yeah.
And then she had a conversation with Onisha, and
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, it's like we have this amazing trio. And
Yeah,
yeah, so now we are here.
yeah. Pretty much how it all started and how it's been going down. So, guys, into the deep question for today, since we're introducing ourselves, introducing this podcast, we also have to give the people a little taster of what it's all going to be about.
Mhm.
So, this is going to be a bit of a personal one, answer the way you like. But what sort of motion is your life in right now? Where do you feel like the life is life lifing, or is it going to plan, or it's like, sometimes you plan life and the whole world and everything else around you is like, boom, you better take a chill pill. So where is your life? Like, how is it
okay,
going?
I'll
What's
go
the
first.
motion of
What
your
sort
life
of
right
motion
now? Is my life in right now? I feel like at the moment I'm really trying, I'm focused. I feel like I'm at the point where I'm most focused. I haven't been this focused in a long time. I've been focused, but now I'm like super focused. And yeah, that's just the motion. I just don't have time for much. As you know, ladies, I'm a single Pringle. And I'm really enjoying that now because I feel like the focus where my life is right now,
Mhm.
relationships are great, but it will be a distraction for me right now.
Mhm.
So I'm enjoying this season of focus in my life. I am trying to improve on just different things, like even my daily routine. How do I maximize my evenings after work? What can I do to improve myself after I've been at work the whole day? So things like reading self-improvement books is something I'm doing a lot now. I'm taking my health and fitness seriously. So in the evenings, I try and unwind with like yoga or just little things. But I just feel like my routine is super strict. now, and I like it that way because I'm going through a season where I am focused.
Mm.
So no distractions.
For me, I guess maybe just self-discovery, right? I'm sort of being introduced to this to the version of myself where I'm sort of challenged to step up on the plate, you know. So whether it be work-wise, whether it be just in my relationships, I just
Mm-hmm.
have to really show up in a version of the best version of myself. Before, it used to be just like, just going along with the flow and everything, but now I feel like I have to be a lot more intentional. So it's a bit similar to like your story. Yeah. being in
Intentional. That's the key word for my life theme right now. It
Yeah.
has to be very much intentional.
Yeah, so being very intentional. How do I show up as the best like business leader? How do I show up being the best daughter? How do I show up being the best sister? And just allowing maybe for me to also step back as well. And let's say in terms of relationships, right? So letting people go through like their processes, which is another different conversation by itself, but really just being also present in the moment. I think that's what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing I would say for myself as well. I'm really trying to be present and just mindful. And like you said, self-discovery. I am at a place where if something does not align with me, it has to go. Maybe before I would entertain things in friendships, relationships, just in life in general. But now if it doesn't align, it has to go. My focus is just is too much on myself
Mhm.
and getting better every day to just entertain things that don't align. So everything has to be very intentional for me at the moment. Um, Ganesha.
Yeah, I feel like so I was looking at someone's post the other day. Her name is Miley Teal, and she was talking about she feels like that she call this moment in her life hard reset. And I feel like that's kind of the moment I'm in my life as well, just taking a
Mm-hmm.
hard reset. I've had a lot of time after I finished my degree to kind of rest, quote unquote rest. I was still doing a lot of like research work and stuff like that, but my life just didn't feel as busy as it feels right now. And so I had a lot of time to like rest and kind of decompress, think about what I want to do next, where I want to go next, how do I want my life to look like, and who do I want to be. And a lot of who I was isn't who I am now. And it's definitely not going to be who I am in a couple of months. And so just taking like a hard reset to my life and just going forward in a different way. And like you guys are talking about intentionality, definitely being intentional, super intentional about just everything, my life, my relationships, health, trying to be super intentional about all of that stuff. So that's, I guess that's what I would say. That's where my life is at the moment. I was gonna say shambles, but then I was like, you know what? Everybody answered deep, so let me not.
Hey, shambles. Yeah, I feel like yeah. I feel like I'm similar to you as well, where it's been a hard reset. I just feel like every day I wake up every day and I'm like, today this Barbara is different, and I'm liking it. You're saying you're not gonna be the same person in a few months. I'm right there with you, honey. Sometimes I'm
Yeah,
not the same person I was last week.
Mm,
Sometimes I'm not the same person I was last week. And it's not saying it as in I'm a different person in a bad way. It's a different way where it's improving every day. Every
mhm,
day I feel more aligned to my truest version of myself.
mm,
And I think that is the theme and the motion of my life right now. Just being the truest version of myself. However
mm,
that
yeah,
may look like. Another thing that I've noticed in this season of my life is I almost feel like I'm a villain, where it's like, is that how you say it, villain, right? I
mhm,
almost feel like it's some sort of villain era where, because I am prioritizing myself, I am setting such strong boundaries in my friendships, in my relation, just in my life in general, in my work, everything. I feel like I'm a villain because when you start doing those things, the readjustment for the people around you, it's very difficult. And sometimes you can appear as a villain. You're being selfish. You're being too difficult. But I'm okay with that because I know what that's doing for me right now. And I know that's what I need.
mm,
So yeah, I'm also going through a bit of a villain era,
mm,
and that's all right.
mm. Can I just correct you? I feel like you're a positive rebel, really.
Yeah,
Literally rebelling against maybe
yeah,
what you say you're setting up your boundaries, right? And
yeah,
like not used to this version of yourself. I say this because I think we've had this discussion before when you're telling me about
yeah, yeah,
they neg
yeah,
like they're just not used to the version of you where you have your boundaries intact and things like that.
yeah.
So you're not a villain. I feel like you're being a rebel, but a positive rebel
A
for
positive rebel. I like that. But in
I
other
like
people's eyes, it's like you're a villain, and almost like, oh, where did that come from? Like, how are you this? Like, you know, when you start to really enforce your boundaries, you're like, I am not having this, or I am not taking this sort of disrespect or whatever. People really start, and sometimes people also question, like, are you okay? Yes, I'm absolutely fine. It's just I'm just not putting up with a lot of things no more, you know?
mm,
some people don't get it. Sometimes people
Yeah,
feel like it's a, but your boundaries aren't about them. It's about you.
yeah,
Like you know, it's about anybody else. It's about me.
yeah.
It's about what I could take on, and even if I can take it on, what I want or need to take on, because not everything I can take on means I need to take it on or that I want to take it on, and it's okay to say no. Sometimes people
Yeah.
like if people see you being a certain way, always yes, 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 and they start to say no, they're gonna villainize you, and I mean,
That's
okay,
okay.
yeah.
Well,
okay.
as Charlotte said, I'm being a, was it a good rebel?
A positive rebel. I think
Positive rebel. It's okay. I can be a villain. I can be a positive villain, positive rebel. That's all right.
that's
That's
okay.
okay with me. Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
back on what you guys are saying, like I think we all have like a reserve of energy that is we are assigned to. So there's some things where some people they just take too much of your energy. Like sis, I can't address your toxicity right now, so I'm just
My
gonna
tolerance at the moment. Yeah, I agree. It's like your tolerance is low. Please
yeah.
miss me with that. Go that way. Direction left, not right. Go. Mm-mm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Tolerance.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It sounds like we're all going through similar emotions.
Yeah.
Hence why we're the amazing trio that we are.
I think another thing I would say about where I'm at the moment is recognizing that like I need some deep core healing in like the levels of
Woo!
my. I feel
Woo!
like
Oh
Why
wait.
are you
Oh,
being so loud? Why is the volume so loud? Why?
it's
Nisha, why?
oh my
Why are you
God.
coming for our necks?
yeah,
Why are
we
you
are
coming for our necks?
where at the moment. I feel like the past, like I think COVID did something. We all had to pause and face ourselves, right? But I feel like in the past year, even though we've been back up on our feet and being able to like go out and do some different things, I feel like in the past year I've recognized so much of the things in me that I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, that needs to we need to do something about that. We need to do something
Mm,
about that. So getting very intentional. Like I've given myself, and I know healing takes time, right? It's not like a one-time thing, but I've given myself like a 6 month period of hard focus on all things soul healing and soul restoration. Because there's just things I don't want to take with me as I'm changing and as I'm growing, and I just need to let go of a couple and I'm just trying to get to that place. Like you said, like being your truest self and not trying to feed off of what people expect of you or who people want you to be. So yeah, so healing, dealing with those soul areas and
Mm,
mental health, dealing with it all.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I
Like
can 100%, sorry, Charlotte, I can 100% relate to that. Because when I said I was being focused, that's another thing. My healing requires all my focus right now. And if I'm in my healing season and I'm trying to align with the truest version of myself, then it's going to require 100% of my focus.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. That just reminds me of like that Bible verse, like you can't pour new wine in old wine skins. You know you're gonna go to the next level. You see, you sense the next level coming, but it's like this version of me won't be able to handle the next level. So I have to heal. There's
100.
certain mindsets that needs to change, certain attitudes that need to like go. And I need to be this version of myself where I can actually sort of like handle the next level. So yeah, it's inner work that we all need to do. And it's sometimes it's a lifelong thing, because sometimes you think you've gotten to another place and you say, oh, there's still more healing to do, more
Healing, yeah. It never ends. It never
yeah.
ends. I have a question for you guys based off everything we're talking about.
Mm,
So it sounds like all of us, all three of us, were on a healing journey, right?
mm,
At what point? Because I can't, for me, for myself, I can't say I just woke up one day and thought this is the day I decide to heal. But what was the breaking point where you were like, whoa, I'm gonna need to do some work, honey? Where was the breaking point? Let me go first. I
okay.
think for me, it was triggered by a lot of suffering,
Mm,
a lot of suffering, and most of it, I would say now, was self-inflicted.
mm,
A lot of suffering that was self-inflicted.
mm,
So I think after a few good years of just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other,
mm,
I woke up one day and I was just like, no more, Barbara.
mm,
No more. Like, I'm going to do the work.
mm,
What does it take? Bring it on. I'm ready to do the work
mm,
because this is not where I want to be. And if I keep letting these things go on, or if I don't check myself,
mm,
I am not going to get where I want to be.
mm,
And that's a waste of life. I don't want to waste my life.
mm, mhm,
So I
mhm,
think for me, this whole journey was triggered by a lot of suffering. And
mm,
like I said, most of it, sometimes we want to blame it on everything else and everyone else. But most of it, 99.9% was me. So
mhm,
that accountability, taking that accountability was triggered by a lot of suffering. But I'm
mm,
so glad it triggered that in me
mm,
because now I'm like, okay, now I can address things and I can move on, right?
mm.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
when I thought like this is the point where it's like no more. So for you guys, when did you feel like okay, now is the point to do this healing journey?
For me, I think it's something similar to you. It's always a breakup, something.
Girl, you had to go there and do that. We were chilling. We were
Oh,
chilling.
okay,
She
okay.
had to go there and do that.
Let me reel it back in. But okay, so you see, when you study your life, you see
Mhm.
cycles and
Mhm.
you see things just repeating, and you think, okay, so like you were saying, accountability, which part did I play? Because most of the times you do have a part that you actually played. Yeah, so you have
Mhm.
to really take accountability to say these things I allowed,
Mhm.
and these things have really caused trauma in my life. Whether I need to go
Hey.
now, whether I need
Mhm.
to call my friends and
Mhm.
cry out, that think that's when, yeah, for me, that was when a significant event happened. And it was just, I realized that, like I was saying, it was a cycle, and I just realized, okay, maybe I need to heal. Whether it's sometimes it's also
Mhm.
ancestral pain as well that's
Mhm.
coming
Mhm.
through,
Mhm.
and you kind of
It
need to
is.
go on that level of just
Mhm.
really realizing that this pain really, or these things that are happening, it's not me per se, but it's something that
Yeah.
has been going on for generations to generate. I don't want to go into details, it would make more
Yeah.
sense giving you context, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely content for other episodes. But
Yeah.
definitely just studying your life and just realizing, like, I need to change and I need to get the healing that I need, and
Yeah.
really just literally turn to God. That's all I can say. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think for me, like, I don't know if you ever walked into a room and then when you walk out of that room, you're like, who was I in that room?
I
I had a
have.
really, yeah, I had that experience one time and I was like, who, who was that in that room? And it's almost like trying to put something on because you want to come across a certain way or want to be acceptable a certain way to the people in that room.
Yeah.
Mm,
And such a big difference in my personality that it made me take a step back and go, whoa, 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 you need to figure out what is going on there and why that happened. And yeah, so for me, it was just trying to really be intentional about being true to who I am and not
Mm,
feeling like I have to myself or be something else to be accepted in a room.
mm,
If I'm in the room, I'm gonna be in the room and not feeling like I have to bow to anybody's kind of, what they want for that to happen. I think in Caribbean culture, let me just say in the Bahamas, Lord, we have a highly opinionated culture. And so you find that culture everywhere. Everybody has an opinion about how you're going to live your life, what you're supposed to be doing, how it's supposed to look, how you're supposed to do it. And you could be a grown woman and people still, have their opinions about what your life should look and be like. And so I found myself trying to conform to that instead of actually going, Nisha, what do you want? What do you want to do? Who do you want to be? How do
mm,
you want to live?
mm.
And that spurred a lot of this season. But that healing journey, I've been on that for years, dealing with stuff inside of me. I grew up hearing my grandma say, "You don't need people. You don't need people." I heard that for years, and after a while, I started to believe it, and so I literally had to learn how to do friendships, how to relate to people, how to be vulnerable and let people in. So the healing journey has been for years, but currently at this moment, it's about Nisha. Be true to yourself. Don't be so in your head because I could be there and I could live
Oh, me
there.
too.
Mm.
Yeah, be grounded in your heart, live from there, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment and how it all
Yeah,
kind of began.
begin. Yeah.
Wow.
But on the topic of being true to yourself, this is something I've always said. Always be true to yourself, always be true to yourself, always be true to yourself. It's something that I've always valued. But sometimes don't you feel like the true to yourself, the yourself that you're trying to be true to, you don't even know? You
Mm,
need that time to know that self that you're even trying to be true to. And one thing, like you said, how the Caribbean culture has all these pressures and the opinions.
mm,
Same thing in
Hmm.
African culture.
mm.
It's the same thing in Africa. Charlotte, you know this. It's
Yeah.
the same thing in Africa. People always know better for you than you
Mm,
do for
mhm,
yourself. And yeah, I think at some point I had to also be like, if I'm gonna be true to myself, I need to figure out who I am so
mm,
that I can honor that person.
mm,
And it's not every day go to school and be clever because that's what people do and they're clever and they earn money.
mm,
When I go there, what do I want to do? When I'm
mm.
out of there, what do I want to do? Is
Yeah.
it even something that is for me? Am
Mm,
I more a creative? Am I more an academic? You know,
mm.
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
this. Yeah, so much of our lives is just people telling us what to do. And if you're not careful, it's so easy to get sucked in and not even realize who you are.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I think, yeah, even on the journey of being true to yourself, I had to pause and be like, well, who the heck am I? And
Mm,
who is this person I'm trying to be true to? So
mm,
even that in itself triggered a huge healing journey for me because I was like, who am I?
mm.
Mhm.
Isn't it
Yeah.
a shame though that these things we start to grasp them when we're older?
Hmm.
You know, if only we had that person, not to blame our parents. I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
did the best that they could, but there's no
Mm-hmm.
parent who's perfect. So sometimes if they were very good at really teaching us how to be true to ourselves and things, but then they have the pressures as well. Like they want their kids, like African culture, they want their kids to be doctors, engineers, and stuff like that. You know, it's like so they want their kids to be sort of what is it called excelling. So now it's like they put that pressure on the kid, and now the kid is like, really, I love designing, I feel like I'm going to be a producer and things like that. And it's like it's just those things, I think it's ingrained in us, especially like African kids, where your should I say your identity is like sort of already tempered with. It's not almost like you have to be told what
To
you're
do.
gonna be. So
Yeah.
unless if you're this child who's really um maybe just rebellious, brave, let me say just brave to say no, this is not the path that I'm supposed to be in, then you're just going to be doing what your parents do, or maybe the aunties. You know that there's a saying that the aunties, where they tell you stuff, it's like they're very opinionated, and things like that. So yeah, I totally resonate. Personally, I've always been like a person who just does my thing, and I've been lucky that my parents my parents were, they were not really putting pressure on me, even though what I just said is very common, like, in African
Mhm.
culture.
Mhm. Mhm.
So in that aspect, I'm kind of grateful. I've never had to um sort of try to be something that I'm not. So anything that I do, I'm truly passionate about. But I totally understand when it happens to others. It's like their parents really do play a part in
Who they
trying to,
become, yeah.
yeah.
It's true. I was going to say, actually, the sad thing sometimes is our parents, they're just doing what they know.
Hmm.
But I feel like there's a new wave where people, obviously, people who have grown up in certain homes are having these very difficult conversations, addressing things to the point where now your parents are actually even learning from you. Because
Hmm.
maybe in that time, they didn't have the audacity
Mm.
to stand up and say this or that. It was just not a thing.
Yeah,
Different eras, different generations.
yeah.
And I feel like even it's gotten to the point where now some of us are inspiring difficult conversations to be had that is pushing growth in those areas.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
have the information that we have now too. Like we have access to tons of information, social
Mm.
media.
exactly. The internet, yeah.
Yeah, we have access to a lot of information that they didn't have back then.
Mhm.
And people give
Mhm.
what, and if all they have is, just a little bit of affection, or if all they have is just, this is how I know that my parents made it back in the day, and so this is how you're going to make it. That's the only information that they have. That's all that they give,
They
you
can
know?
give, yeah.
Mm. But the issue about like identity, right? So our jobs are really not our identity, because somebody can just change jobs, right? But that goes even as deep as the imposter. I don't know if you probably have heard of it, the imposter syndrome,
Imposter syndrome.
and you did psychology.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's it's just one of those things where the pressures of life, right? To conform to a
Mhm.
certain, are you bubbly? Sometimes people are naturally bubbly, or they talk a lot, but then you don't want to be viewed as the talkative black girl or something. You know what I'm trying to say? Is you want to be mellow, but or the other way around. It could be anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that topic is really wide. I feel like that
Yeah, yeah. Even how stereotypes make you feel in the world, you
exact,
know. That's another thing. I also found as much as sometimes you can be true to yourself and you're being true, sometimes people make you feel bad for even being your own self. You'll
exactly.
get a lot of that. So if you're not very strong and strong-willed in who you are,
Yeah.
it's very easily to be persuaded. The amount of time that I've got, oh, you're just that nice church girl.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
So what? I don't have an opinion. Or you're just that nice church girl, so you must be so boring.
But what is it
Mm.
about people and labels? Like they just feel
The
that they
stereotypes, yeah. I've even got some people have said it as a joke. Some people have said it seriously. Oh, you have all these piercings and tattoos. You must be a bad girl. All sorts of crazy stereotypes. Or so it is very hard sometimes to be like, if you're not careful, people make you feel bad for
mm,
who you are. You have to be very strong-willed in this life.
yeah.
Else you wake up feeling bad every day
Mm,
because people want to question who you are every single minute.
mm. And sometimes they don't have to say it even out loud. It's in their attitude.
The
Like
way
they,
they make you feel.
yeah, the way they make you feel. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's the thing. We can, as human beings, we're so like fluid. We're so complex.
Mm,
One stereotype, just because I go to church doesn't mean I fit your stereotype of church. Yes,
mm,
I go to church, but yes, I also do other things with myself. I'm not just that church person, or
mm,
I'm not just the girl that reads a book, or I'm not just the girl that has the tattoos or the piercings. Like we are so, I like to think of myself as a complex being. I'm
Mm,
allowed to spread myself every wing wherever I want to be. I'm
yeah,
free. I'm a free spirit. I'm free to do all of those things.
yeah,
But people love to shrink you to your career. They like to shrink you to, oh, she's just that audiologist. In
yeah,
fact,
Mm.
I'm so much more that that audiologist side of me comes
mhm,
far back in the
yeah,
background somewhere. It's
exactly,
chilling, you
exactly,
know? And it's
exactly.
like even when people meet you, it's like they have to find out what you do, where you're coming from, to give
Mm,
you a level of respect. It's
yeah,
like, why? Is it
hmm,
necessary?
yeah, yeah,
Where you first? You're first of all of us are human. All of us came from dirt, so all of us are dirt.
Yeah,
yeah,
Now, when
yeah,
you're human, all of us are gonna go the same place at the end of the day, back to the earth.
yeah,
And but people, like you said, like some people are like, you kind of are in this ranking based on a lot of things, like your education, based
yeah,
on what you do, your profession, based on race, like all of these things. People kind of class you in a box. I'm like, listen, like you, Barbara, like I'm a lot of different things. Like don't let
put me in a
anything.
box. Yeah,
Don't put me in a box. I'm a lot of things, and it can surprise you. Like, but people, it's how we kind of make sense of life too. And I don't want to, go into like all of that, but it's
yeah,
just kind of sense of life, and it's kind of the way the brain tries to protect us by compartmentalizing things.
mm,
yeah,
But you can't judge people based on just that. I think we've lived enough life to know
mm,
that everybody is different and, like you said, complex. And to
mm,
approach,
yeah.
honestly, I don't know if y'all know that soca song that's going around. I'm gonna drink water and mind my business. Y'all
yeah.
heard
Mind my business. Drink water and mind my business.
About
Yep.
this.
that as minding your business. And
Yeah,
if enough of us did that enough, we'd be just okay. Just be kind. Be kind. Drink water and mind your business, and I think you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I think, yeah, that was a huge struggle for my younger self
mm,
growing up
Mm,
and just always having just people coming at who you are,
mm,
almost making it feel wrong
mm,
for you to be who you are. It got so loud at a certain point that I just wanted to go boom. This is who I am. Deal with it. You
mm,
know, it's
mm,
just every time people just, if you're not very careful, and that's one thing I want everybody to take if you hear this podcast, be very strong in who you are, be very strong-willed in who you are,
mm,
because it will come at you. We don't always mean to, but
mm,
people will come at you, and if you're not careful, you can actually feel wrong for
mm.
just being who you are.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So a huge part of staying true to yourself is also blocking out the noise.
mm,
Know how to block out the noise, because
mm,
people will come at you who
mm.
you are. They will nitpick at who you are, and it's like you will start to feel wrong for just being who you are. And when
Yeah,
you go down that drain, hey, that's another whole mess you're not
mm,
really willing to deal with.
yeah, yeah,
I think that's a topic for some point. Internalizing those voices and you starting to
Mm-hmm.
feel wrong. Wow. I think that'd be a good topic.
mm.
100%.
That just made me think of this whole femininity movement,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I feel it's a good movement, for people to
Mm-hmm.
discover their feminine side and stuff like that. But what about the girls who necessarily don't like to wear pink lipstick? Things like that. And they start to feel the pressure to sort of like be someone they're not. And it's
Not,
obvious
yeah.
to everyone, like, this is not you, that those are just some trends I think that we need to be mindful of. So,
Of, yeah.
like, yeah, so if you're a young girl or young boy who's watching this, you feel like I need to hop on this trend. It doesn't have to be just the femininity trend or anything, but just be mindful of these trends. Really, trends come and go,
Yeah.
but you're gonna be living
You're
with your
constant.
true self. Are you happy with
Mm-hmm.
with your choices? Are you doing it out of like peer pressure, or do you
Mm-hmm.
want clout on social media and things like that? Yeah, it's so freeing waking up and knowing that today I'm just gonna be myself.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do the
Exactly
things
that.
that I feel like I'm called to do, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to just not put unnecessary pressure on myself to be someone else.
Mm, mm, mm. And
Yeah.
another thing, we live in a generation of overdoing things. It's like even the healing journey. Sometimes it's suffocating when you log on social media because it's like going down your throat. It's like I can't even say anything else anymore. Like, let's unpick that. Let's
Mm,
dive that. Why? Is it every day? Is it every day?
mm,
We live in a generation of overdoing things. Oh, let's dive into healing. Let's dive into therapy. Yes, all those things are great, but balance is key in life.
mm,
Balance yourself. Balance, balance,
mm,
balance. Because when you do too much of everything, then it becomes a bad thing too. We
mm,
live in a generation of overdoing things, trends, things, femininity journey.
mm.
Okay, but can we move on and drink water at the same time? Like, can we balance? You know?
Yeah,
We
yeah.
need some balance.
Yeah, and one person's journey, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be your journey. So whatever stage that person is going through doesn't mean that you have to jump on that bandwagon. So you have to really find sort of your pace and your rhythm, your motion in life.
Yeah, yeah. One size doesn't fit all. So
Exactly.
make sure so somebody's size, they're not pushing their size down your throat because it
Mm,
might not be your size.
mm-hmm,
Wow.
mm-hmm.
We smart, ladies. We cute. We smart.
Smashing it.
We're spitting bars. Yeah, I think we've pretty much run out of time and we've summed everything up. But I think this has given people an idea of what to expect. So, in episodes
Yeah.
and seasons to come, we're going to be diving into specific topics, aren't we? Does anyone want to tell some of the examples that we have coming up, of topics people should expect and things like that?
What's that? We'll
Go
be
for it.
giving women their flowers, okay, on this podcast.
Woo, yeah.
Dead or alive, you're gonna get your flowers if you deserve
Mm-hmm.
to. So that one
Mm-hmm.
I'm very much looking forward to covering with my fellow hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving women their flowers. We'll be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Nisha?
I feel like I feel like I'm on the hot seat. This shouldn't be this difficult. But I guess just talking about like relationships and how to do relationships well, and talking about like women and their worth in relationships, and not defining yourself around any man who may be interested in.
We'll also be addressing a lot of social issues. We're going into mental health. We'll be talking about mental issues on our podcast. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just say
Yeah,
that in general. And it's not always going to be things that are just like woman related, like proper life issues. Let's talk about Black excellence. Let's
Yes.
yeah,
unpick the standards around that.
Oh
Things
yeah.
that Black athletes go through. Why is the standard always higher? These are
Yeah.
some of the things that are yet to come. So, guys, we want you all to stay tuned, stay glued,
Mm.
and yeah, just join us in discussing these topics.
yeah,
Also, we will have our YouTube, Instagram, all the social media platforms going. If there's anything you feel like, okay, I would really like this podcast to um, cover this topic, then please, you can always slide in our DMs. We'll put it everywhere:
Mm-hmm.
Instagram, Twitter, all of the others, all
Mm-hmm.
the
yeah.
above. Yeah,
Everything.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Would also like it to be interactive, so you might see a voting poll in there. So, guys, yeah. So just take part. Take part. Yeah.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next Wednesday. We post every Wednesday, so stay tuned.